And welcome back to part 3 as we continue on with the Shaman special here. That sounds like something you'd order in a restaurant. Can I get a Shaman special? Anyway, let's continue on with an hour here, going through, hitting the higher levels as we continue to start our questing here in Darkshore. I have a very specific way I run the quests when I reach Darkshore on these characters, since I've done them so much. I try to run them in such a way where they will work correctly, and I'm not going to waste my time here showing a whole bunch of this. I will show me getting the quests, doing a little bit of the quests, and then finishing the quests. For people who may not be familiar with it, everyone's pretty much ran Darkshore. If you have done Alliance, obviously if you haven't, then you probably haven't ran the Alliance quests here. Yes, I am fishing, and believe it or not, it's worth it. And there's some great quests here at Darkshore to start out with fishing. It's one of the good places to start out for some fishing quests, and they're real easy if you do them right and get your fishing up early. As you can see, I am using Fishing Buddy, and I've fished here many times, obviously. So, shamans. Shamans are interesting. They're definitely a very different class. They're really in a class of their own, much like druids are. Even though, well, obviously shamans are a hybrid class, as I mentioned in my overlay last part. Druids are a pure hybrid. Pure hybrid. And what I mean by pure hybrid is you can see it in every spec or form that they take, whether it's bear form, which is tanking, which is of course part of feral, or DPS, which is also part of feral, in cat form. And you could see it. You could see the warrior and the rogue there, and the healer part in the Restro Druid, of course, and the mage and the Balance Druid. So you can definitely see the pure hybrids there. Shamans are a little more difficult to peg in that. Obviously, the Restro has its similarities, but it's actually probably one of the more unique classes in the game. Honestly, I have to say, even though it is a hybrid class, the totems are something that nothing anybody else has. That's not a pet. It doesn't work like pets. Nobody else has items quite like it, that do quite like it. So it makes it very, very unique experience for the shaman. And I think that's probably why a lot of people have trouble playing them. They can't figure out their totems. They're not sure how to use their totems. Much like hunters either forego their pets or don't use their pets quite as well. So on and so forth. It's the same idea and characteristic, and I guess that's where the real hybrid part comes in on the shaman. My experience with the shaman has been quite good. Not that hard. It's not that easy either. You still do die. I think my druid experience has helped quite a bit as a Restro Druid. Any druid experience will probably help you, because again, it is a hybrid class. Even though it's totally different and much more unique, it's still a hybrid class. And if you've had experience with a hybrid class before, you're going to be right at home here. If you're coming from a paladin to a shaman, there's some similarities, but there's going to be some big changes for you to look out for. And again, paladins are a hybrid class as well. And the main reason I point them out is because when WoW originally came out, of course, Horde had shamans and allies had paladins, and that's the way it was. There were the unique classes, and they were each unique classes for their time. Paladins are much different. Obviously, they have their auras, and of course their oh lord, forgot it now. I want to say presences, but that's not right. That's Dead Knight. Their blessings of the might and things of that nature. So in a way, that has its own sort of balance, trying to peg with the shaman here. So, but you definitely don't want to confuse the two. They are still very, very different classes. I mean, obviously from the get-go. From the very get-go. I mean, shamans start with leather, paladins start with mail armor, and level 40, shamans get mail armor, and level 40, paladins get plate armor. So it's very, very different. They both are. And so, if you've played a paladin, give a shaman a try. if you played Shaman, give Paladin a try. I really encourage it. So, obviously, I don't know everything about Shamans. This is just what I've learned, what I know, and what I've observed as playing a Shaman so far, from levels 1 to 20. Obviously, showing you 10 to 20 here, and as I level and everything, through my normal grind, if you will, of leveling my characters up from 1 to 20, 10 to 20 specifically. Obviously, the hardest time I've had of my characters going from 10 to 20 is my priest, as I mentioned before, and that had mostly to do with gear more than anything. Cloth armor, squishy, holy priest. That's pretty much enough said. So, not to say I didn't still have my issues with her. I think the biggest thing is balancing my mana, and I think I've come to the realization that if I'm going to use my mana, even though I'm not going DPS elemental, which is very mana intensive, obviously, if I'm going enhancement, I need to learn to balance my mana. And still, even in enhancement, you need to balance your mana because you're still using your spells, you're still using totems, and it does cost mana. And Shamans aren't exactly known for their gigantic mana pool, especially this early. So having those spell points in enhancement for the mana is a great start. When you get up high enough to start putting in some proper gear, and you'll see that near the end. I put some mad equipment in to really bring my intelligence up a heck of a lot. Stamina is still pretty important, in my opinion, for the Shaman, but not quite as much because you have a lot more armor reduction. It would go intelligence, spirit, and then stamina, in my opinion. Intelligence, spirit taking priorities, and stamina being the offhands whenever you can. The more stamina you have, the better, and the less times you really have to heal. Coming Restro Shaman, I would suggest then focusing on stamina intelligence, and then spirit. And I know that sounds kind of odd, but I found that works really well on my druid. And if you've seen my druid in my blog posts and everything like that, and you've been following it, you can see how that really works. It's more about outlasting than killing fast, and that's the point. Here, it's more about the spirit and the intelligence, because you need to make sure you can pretty much bomb the crap out of them, or put your thing in there. And that's something that's great about this character. Obviously, you could easily go strength as well. I mean, if you're going to do more melee to conserve your mana, you can do lower mana pools that way, and let the intelligence come down and focus on strength instead. So you could definitely swap that out on the enhancement function. But since you're going to be using totems so efficiently and so effectively and so often, it's probably best to focus on intelligence. Of course, in my humble opinion. Play around with it, figure out what works best for you, look up what other people have said about it, and find something that works for you if you're going to play Shaman. But you see me running around here doing quests. You can kind of see my order to it. I try to start from of course, the docks, and move my way down a bit across the shore to get some of those starter quests done. Then I go back, and then I head up to Balsharan, do those quests to get the quest down at Astanari, or whatever it's called, and then go down there and do those, and then move back up, do those quests middle. Just try to go around the board, do as much as you can. You can see I'm doing Astanari or Emrith Aran, whatever. God, I can't speak for lore for shit. But so, do what's best for you in Darkshore. If you just want to spaghetti around, you're more than welcome. If you have quest info or any mod like that, quest helper or whatever, you're gonna be just fine. I've ran these so many times. I could do it in my sleep, and I've just been so spoiled by quest info that for some stupid reason I still look at what the note says for these quests, though I know exactly where they are. So yeah, laziness. I don't need to look up memory. So, anyway, that's pretty much what we've got here on the Shaman so far. First 15 levels in a nutshell, pretty much, right here. Please check out my blog, of course, and of course, please rate, high, low, comment. I'd really like to hear what you got to say about this so far. There's still a lot more to come. We still got 5 whole more levels, so you can, of course, look forward to that. Please subscribe if you haven't already, so you can get those updates when they're up there. If you have specific questions about shamans, I will do my best to answer them. Again, I'm still scratching the surface. I'm sharing with you what I have learned and what I've observed and what I've seen. Obviously, this is by no means a do-all, must-all. So, play with it, see what you want. But here's a little preview of what you can expect. But much more to come as we go to the last 5 levels, and then we get really geared and get some awesome spells near the end there, and you'll see me using totems much more. So stay tuned for part 4 and more.